Hello, everyone. I know I always get up when I do that. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Total Football Talk. I'm Anthony.
I'm Eric, and I'm laying down, so you can't see me.
Yeah, I got the whole John Cena thing going on now. All right. Well, XFL Week 2 wrapped up. I want to make one quick comment on XFL Week 2. So, essentially, here's the deal. A lot of people are crapping on the quarterback play in Week 2. And it's amazing to me, Eric, how people genuinely have lost the ability to evaluate the defensive side of the ball. I don't think the average NFL fan would know good defense if it jumped up and bit their pecker off. I really don't. If I hear one more time somebody go Super Bowl 54 or 53 was boring because there was no offense, well, then you don't know good defense and you're Exhibit A in this example. Now, do I think Super Bowl 53 between the Rams and Patriots was a top 25 Super Bowl? No, absolutely not. From a defensive standpoint, I put it right up there with Super Bowl 9, Pittsburgh 16, Vikings 6. That was a heck of a Super Bowl if you like defense. But no, it wasn't high scoring. And that's what the XFL is doing, is they're letting these guys play on defense, and you're seeing what NFL caliber quarterbacks look like when you have defensive rules in favor of defense, or at least rules that are balanced. The NFL, it's so overwhelming one way. So pick a game and we'll talk about it, Eric, because I watched all four.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, there was really only one good game on the docket that I saw that I watched. I saw all the games. There's a reason why DC is called the Defenders, because they're defending something, and that's their home turf.
Yeah.
They made Matt McGloin look like a Pop Warner quarterback. But I want to get into the Dallas St. Louis game. It's the exact kind of game that I talked about that would happen. It was a little closer. It was a little closer than I expected throughout the game. I thought Houston was actually going to pull away, but they only won by 4, 28-24. Give credit to where credit's due. St. Louis played a heck of a game. I'm not gonna knock St. Louis. I predicted them to lose. I thought they were going to lose by a little bit more than they did. But I thought the quarterback play in that game was great on both sides of the ball. I thought the defense has stepped up. And I'll tell you the one reason St. Louis lost. It's because they could not get that seventh point all 4 times. They lost by 4. They scored 4 touchdowns. They could not convert the extra point. That's where some teams would be like, "Hey, I wish we could have kicked extra points. We would have hit 4 extra points. It would have been a game that probably would have went into overtime." But that's what the XFL wants. They want you to be able to make those conversions, 1, 2, or 3 points. And St. Louis couldn't do it. It bit them in the butt. What do you think they're going to work on all week this week coming up? Conversions from probably the 2 or the 5 yard line. I won't be surprised in their game week 3 that you see them convert a lot more. But that's what killed them. That's why they lost. They played a great game everywhere else. It's just Houston was able to convert. St. Louis couldn't. There's your difference.
Well, I'm going to toot my own horn on this one. I said that Houston was going to win a close game, and I said that they were going to have to win it in the end late in the fourth quarter, and that would tell them a lot about that football team. And I picked Houston to win too. But the game, I was a little bit worried when they got out to a 3-touchdown lead. I was like, well, maybe it is going to be a blowout. But back they came, and it was a one-score game, and Houston needed a touchdown, and they got it, and that put the game away. And, it wasn't a game-winning touchdown as time expired like I thought, but it turned out to be the game-winning touchdown, and it was scored with less than 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. So I think a lot of credit needs to go to that Houston football team. But that was the type of game I thought it was going to be. And I was actually really, really pleased with not just the play, but the effort. Even from St. Louis, I mean, this is a new league. You don't know much. You don't know your guys. You don't know your teammates next to you. You barely had a chance to work together. And all of a sudden, you're down 21 against one of the best teams arguably in the entire league. And you've got to get something, not arguably, they are the best team in the entire league. And you got to get something put together. And they did it together in that moment. And I think that's going to bode very well for St. Louis moving down the road, Eric.
Oh, no doubt at all. I think it's a big learning experience for them, and they get New York in St. Louis this weekend. Like I said, I expect a different game. I expect more conversions, so I expect St. Louis to beat New York. But I'll tell you another game that I'm only going to touch on very briefly. But it's amazing what Dallas can do with a legit quarterback. And yes, he was shaky, but Landry Jones came through in the end and got Dallas a much-needed win in Week 2 as well. And, man, what a difference quarterback play can be in just any league. Well,
not just quarterback play, but tackling. L.A. couldn't tackle, and Dallas tackled better today than they did last week. I thought Dallas played a pretty good defensive game last week, and they piggybacked off that again. So what was the defining factor? Was it quarterback play? Yeah, this is an example where Eric's 100% right. A quarterback can make a difference on a good football team. Now, the Rams won several games back in the 80s and a couple in a division championship. Should have been 2 in 86, but I digress. Should have been 3 in 88, but by then they had a quarterback. But they didn't have a quarterback in those. I mean, Dieter Brock, Jeff Kemp. I mean, come on. It wasn't great. But they made it work. Dallas got themselves a legitimate quarterback, but what I like about Landry Jones is that he said he didn't play well, and he took responsibility, and he's like, we won in spite of me in a lot of ways, and blah, 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 blah. But this is what quarterback play looks like when you have defense. And LA, give them credit. They fired their D coordinator. They completely changed some things up. The last thing they want to do is lose at home. Their defense played a whale of a game. Their offense is just pathetically bad. And it's not just the quarterback position. They got running backs that can't hit holes, linemen that can't block block open those holes. I think LA may end up being one of the worst teams in the league if they don't get this thing corrected. And that's saying a lot considering how bad Tampa Bay looked. I think both of those teams will split, and that may be their only wins the entire year. I think you're going to see a couple of 1-9 teams. But
what's funny about that, Anthony, is that I know we've talked betting and we've talked about that before, but I just find it hilarious that Caesars Sportsbook predicted the Tampa Bay Vipers to be the champions coming out of the XFL. Man, if you listen to Caesars, you're losing a lot of money right now. So hopefully you didn't put your money where Caesars said they thought a champion was coming.
Well, here's my question: how in the flip, as my 6-year-old likes to say, do you pick who's going to win the XFL championship in its inaugural season when you know nothing about these teams, these players, or these coaches? Honest to God, if you bet,
you gotta put on somewhere.
No, you don't. You wait. See, that's the problem. Is everyone dude? Add that to the 1,000,003 reasons why I can't stand gambling and why I hate betting in football, because you've got people making decisions that I'm trying really hard to keep this PG for kids. I can't stand gambling. And this is Exhibit A. You're going to tell me that you know how this whole league is going to break down, and you've not even seen one practice. And I'm supposed to bet hundreds of thousands of dollars on a team because Caesars goes, I like the V on the helmet, so I'm going Vipers. Oh, I have snakes. I like Wildcats. I like cats. We'll go with the Wildcats and the Vipers to play each other in the championship. That's what you're betting on. Those are the experts. Oh, my God, dude. Oh, I'm going to try to keep my composure. Go to the next game, please. What's the next game?
The only other game was the trash can game of the week, and that was Seattle beating Tampa.
Well, okay, so what was your take?
17-9.
What was your take on that game? Because Seattle, to me, is one of those teams where I think they're going to be a middle-of-the-road team. If all looks the way it's going to look, I think that they're probably going to be a 4-5 team, maybe 3-7. Middle of the road is when you only play 10 games. At 5-5, 4-6. I said 4-5. Sorry, 4-6, 5-5 type of football team. I think there's potential there, but they've got a lot of growing to do. The good thing about them is their fan base showed up in spades in that game. I was actually really impressed with the St. Louis crowd. They really came out and supported the Dragons. And I liked some things that I saw from Seattle. There were other things that I didn't like. The only thing I walked out of this game clearly understanding was that the Tampa Bay Vipers are one of the worst teams in the league. Thanks, Little Caesars.
They also have one of the worst coaches in the league.
Well, that's a given. Although Gilbride is not that far behind. But thanks, Little Caesars, for picking Tampa Bay to win the championship. If you bet money because you listen to Little Caesars, good. Next year, don't bet. Save your money. Put your kids through college or take them on a vacation, but don't be wasting it in Vegas. Because the Vipers look horrible. But now we go to the DC Defenders New York Guardians game. I don't know. I'm still confused on New York. But I'm a little bit more convinced now that New York is not a good team. They beat a bad team and look good doing it, but then they lost to a good team and looked bad in doing it. I think New York is probably another one of those 4-6, 5-5 type football teams. Do you agree, Eric?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think all signs point to it.
I just think with New York, New York, they really just got to get dumb down the offense a little bit for Matt McGloin. Give him throws where he can just gain a little bit of confidence. He was just swallowed up by that DC defense. Now he doesn't get to play DC every week, obviously. So we'll get to see what New York is in game number 3. But they face another good defense,
yeah.
St. Louis. So nothing went right for New York. I'm actually surprised that they got no points. But DC was just all over the ball, both offensively and defensively. And, they're a well-coached team. They have a good quarterback. They have really good wide receivers. They have a lot going right now. And the only thing that's going to stop DC, they play the last game of the weekend at LA. The only thing that's going to stop DC is Cardale Jones turnovers. He's prone to them, but he does make up for them when he makes really good throws down the field. And he threw. There was a play last week where they got the ball, really good field position. He dropped back, threw one pass, and it was a touchdown. It's like, man, if they find that to where they can score anytime, anywhere on the field, that's a dangerous team right there. That and you might just write in DC versus Houston for the championship game.
Well, that's where I'm going with it right now. So as far as this week goes, there's only one game I really want to highlight because I want to keep this show brief so people can kind of watch it and go, hey, this is pretty cool. They're talking XFL only right now, and it's true. We do want to cover that. So I'm looking forward to St. Louis at home against New York, not because I think it's a great matchup, but because I'm excited to see what St. Louis football is going to look like XFL style. considering that they've lost 2 NFL franchises. All my eyes are glued to that game. How about you, E?
Yeah, I'll definitely be watching it. As I mentioned on the last show, that I was keeping my ties in the Midwest for the XFL and back in the Battlehawks. So I'll definitely be watching this game. I want to see, for the same reason I want to see the fans in St. Louis and how they welcome the Battlehawks to their first home game. And then, St. Louis has played really well both, and have played really well on the road in both places. Again, had a tough loss against Houston last game. I want to see how much they've learned, how much they've grown from week 1 to 2 to 3. And basically, you'll be able to tell right away if their nerves are kicking in because they're playing at home in front of their home fans for the first time. But how quickly they calm their nerves and say, you know what, this is our home. Let's get it. Let's make a statement. We know we can hang with Houston. Let's not have a letdown. There wasn't a bad loss that they had last week. Actually, it was a good loss that they could take a lot from. We'll just see how they rebound in week 3.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the 24-12 St. Louis victory. I think that their defense is going to step up. I think they're going to double up on New York. I think they're going to create turnovers and force those into points. And I think they're going to walk out of there with a dub. Any predictions on the score?
Yeah, I'll go 27-9.
27-9. There you got it. That's our XFL edition. Stay tuned. Next show coming up pretty quickly. We're going to be covering some NFL talk. Hope you guys enjoyed Total Football Talk XFL Week 3 edition. Week 3. I'm Anthony.
I'm Eric.
Late.